Secretary of Stafford.
Thank you very much, sir. It's a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship, and I congratulate the Honourable Member for Tunbridge Wells for securing the debate. I rise today not just as a constituency MP, but as Vice Chairman of the all-party group on SEND, and as someone alarmed by what I see every day, a system stretched to the point of failure where vulnerable children are paying the price. In my first year as an MP, I've taken up 98 SEND cases, but I accept that's just the tip of the iceberg in my constituency. That includes a family whose son's autism assessment is so delayed he'll finish school before he gets the help he needs. And another is spending over £10,000 on tribunal proceedings. This isn't a system, it's a fight, and families are losing. Across both Surrey and Hampshire, 3% of pupils in state-funded schools have an EHCP, and a further 13% receive SEND support. But behind the numbers are children waiting years for basic support, parents forced into legal battles just to access what their children are entitled to, and councils collapsing under the sheer volume of demand without the necessary support this requires from a national government level. The crisis is compounded by serious concerns about legality and quality. I've heard credible reports of educational psychologist assessments being drafted by trainees and rubber-stamped without proper oversight, a process designed to evade scrutiny, not deliver support. Meanwhile, the cost of failure is spiralling. In Surrey alone, more than £13 million a year is spent on taxiing over 500 children to school alone. Nationally, the average cost of special school placements is now over £61,000 per child per year, and councils are staring down a projected £5 billion SEND deficit by 2026. All of this is worsened by the government's ideological attack on independent schools. Schools like Morehouse and Undershaw School offer bespoke, life-changing provision for children who cannot cope in mainstream education, often in partnership with local authorities. But tax changes and policy hostility are forcing closures, reducing places and driving costs up further. The results are, Edward, fewer options for children, more pressure on already overwhelmed state schools. I want to pay tribute to Councillor Jonathan Hulley, who has just taken over as the new Cabinet Member in Surrey, who is trying his best to grapple with this problem. But as we've heard from across this chamber today, this isn't a Surrey or a Hampshire problem. It's a country-wide problem, and the government needs to step up. So I ask the Minister, will she ring-fence capital funding to expand specialist places in high-need areas? Will she publish guidance and support to reduce the cost and overuse of solo SEND transport, which is neither sustainable nor in the child's best interest? Will she protect alternative and independent providers who deliver high-quality specialty education? And will she finally put... I will give way.
I thank the Honourable Member, my fellow MP in Surrey, for his thoughts. Can I just say that last year, nearly half of Surrey's high needs block, £122 million of support, was spent supporting SEND places at non-maintained independent schools. And it's often half the cost to put those children in state schools, state-maintained schools. Would he not agree that we need to put more money into state schools rather than independent schools, which are often run by private equity firms that are taking that money out of local authorities and making profit on the back of very vulnerable children?
I'm afraid I respect the Honourable Lady deeply, but I have to say I entirely disagree with her. And I think pitting the estate sector against the independent sector and vice versa is entirely the wrong way to go about it. I think it will damage the education. And I can say to her, I'm very happy to take her around either Morehouse or Undershaw in my constituency to show her the amazing work that those two schools do. And I think she may change her tune once she's seen that. As I said, Sir Edward, just before I took the intervention, the key thing here is the government going to step up and make the national changes and reforms to make this system fair, equitable and sustainable across the country? SEND families aren't asking for special treatment, they're asking for lawful, timely and compassionate support. No child should feel hopeless in the very system meant to help them, and no family should be forced to break themselves to secure basic rights. Let's fix this, and let's mean what we say when we talk about inclusion.
Chris Ward.